I lost track of time. We got a lot of people in here already. Let me hop over here to the comments. We have Miss MelNetteLivingFreeZipCodeless. She was here first. Then we have 54 Jars. Hello.
Yeah.
We have Char of Hearts. We have Linda Barker. Shanna Craft. Roy and Becky's Travels. Roy, I saw that you weren't feeling very good. I hope you're feeling better.
Oh, I know.
I hope the internet holds up for you too.
Yeah.
And I think that's everybody that I can click on right now. So today we've got a two-parter. This is a good story.
Yeah, good stories.
I'm excited about this one. So let's get this one popped up here and get started on it. All right. Jennifer Fairgate and her briefcase of bullets. Dun, dun, dun. She's just one badass woman.
Right? On May 31st, 1995, a woman who was fluent in both German and English checked into the Oslo Plaza Hotel at 10:44 p.m. Oslo.
Roy is doing better. He's enjoying the sunshine outside. Good to hear.
Oh, good, Becky.
The hotel is now known as the Radisson Blu Plaza Hotel. It had been completed in 1989 and was the epitome of a modern five-star hotel with 1,500 beds in 673 rooms.
That's pretty large.
Hotel. Yeah, that's a big one. Oh, wow.
Not pretty.
It's really pretty. It looks so clean and classic.
Yeah. Info about the hotel. Towering 37 stories above Oslo city center, the Radisson Blu Plaza Hotel, Oslo is within walking distance of top attractions such as the Royal Palace, National Gallery, and the Oslo Spectrum Arena.
So it's right in the heart of downtown.
Mm-hmm.
According to members of the staff, Jennifer spoke English when making her initial booking. On May 31st, when calling to say she would arrive later that day and be accompanied by another person, she spoke German, presumably without an accent.
She had booked the room for 3 nights, paying 1845 kroner for each night. Exchange rate equals about 222 US dollars currently. She did not give a credit card. She checked in at a busy time. This hotel was used a lot by flight attendants, and the last flight of the night had came in.
$222 a night? That's pretty pricey.
I guess back in the 90s, right? It's probably really...
Well, and they did say it was a 5-star hotel, so
yeah.
I guess that would make sense. She was allocated to room 2805, and she gave the following information while she checked in. Name, Jennifer Fairgate. Date of birth, August 23, 1973. 0748 Rue de la Stay? I have no idea. 7968 Verlaine, Belgium. Phone number 3268-326-548. Company Service Belgium. Belgium.
Sounds good.
The form that Jennifer filled in upon check-in.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jennifer also checked a Lois Fairgate into the same room. The receptionist said he didn't see anyone with her while checking her in, but another employee said they saw Jennifer with a man between 25 to 40 years old going into the room with her. The man has never been identified.
Interesting that he had the same last name.
Yeah.
They made it
Mhm.
seem I would think that as a married couple, but why
Mhm.
separate rooms? I don't know.
Mhm.
During Jennifer's stay at the hotel, nobody recalled seeing her exit or enter her room except for once. A cleaner remembered entering her room and finding the room clean, along with a pair of vivid high heeled shoes that were never located. And it is believed that someone took them. Someone had a shoe fetish.
Yeah. In my mind, I imagine like red high heels. I don't know why.
Right?
During her stay, she attempted to contact two invalid numbers in Serene and Grace Hollingen, Belgium.
These are some big words, people. We're stretching our abilities tonight.
We're trying.
On June 2nd, a Friday, she called the reception and extended her stay until the Sunday. On the same day at 8:06 p.m., she ordered room service.
The room service attendant accidentally took the food initially to 2804 instead of 2805, the room across the corridor. This was occupied by a Mr. F.
Now, this was the other room she had checked out, right?
Yeah. I don't know why they're not calling him Fairgate. They just
Yeah.
say Mr. F.
So here's the food.
Mm-hmm.
The mistake was cleared up and the food delivered to the mystery woman directly opposite. She gave a massive tip of 50 kroner, which is around $8. That's a good tip back then.
Yeah. And the food was delivered at 8:23 p.m. And this is the last time that Jennifer was seen alive.
The day before she died, a member of the staff saw Jennifer enter her room and put the "Do Not Disturb" sign on the door handle.
Between Thursday and Saturday, 3 attempts are made to get in touch with her via the room's television, asking her to come down to the reception because of missing payments.
And that's just because she was there longer than she said, right?
Yeah, and also because they didn't have a credit card on file, so they were trying to bill her
Oh
for the
yeah,
time she was.
wasn't that another big thing with it? Is that normally they don't allow people to check in without a credit card, but somehow she was able to do that?
Yeah.
The last message was sent at 7:36 p.m. on June 3rd, which someone in the room was confirmed to have read. Whoever it was pressed a button on the remote control to acknowledge the message.
I didn't know that they had the means for it to go through a TV. You know what I mean? It was always
Yeah, I
like
think
through the phone. So, have you seen that before, BB?
yeah, because like the satellite cable and stuff like that, you can kind of send. It has the
Oh,
little
okay.
screen, so yeah.
Uh-huh. On June 3rd at 7:50 p.m., hotel security went and knocked on Jennifer's door. The staff had become alarmed after they realized the DND, Do Not Disturb sign, was on the door for many days. This was around 14 minutes after the TV message about paying for the room was read by someone in the room. As soon as he knocked, he heard a gunshot.
Can you imagine? You're there to check out a sketchy situation already, and then you hear a gunshot. Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Christina Bell.
Mhm.
Two people were registered as staying in the room. Hotel security walked back down to the reception, notified his manager, and called the police. At this point, the room is left unattended. There's no CCTV, closed circuit television camera available in the hallway. See, that blows my mind too. It's like how many mistakes can be made in this situation? The no card to verify her name and all that stuff. You hear
No payment.
gunshots. Yeah, and there's a man too that I don't. That's a whole nother thing. But then also, like, you hear gunshots, something happened, you walk away and don't observe what's happening. Like,
Yeah.
and your security, like that's security.
He just walks away. I would have ran.
Yeah, like
But
go to
yeah.
the end of the hall and watch and see what's happening. You don't just, I don't know, bail.
Wow.
Are you able
I'm
to see this?
sorry. Yeah, I didn't realize it changed. At 8:04 p.m., the security manager walks upstairs, decides to open the door ever so slightly, and spots a woman lying on the bed inside the dark room. After getting no response and noticing a sour smell, he decides to wait outside for the police.
Okay. So now after the one security guy runs away because of a gunshot, this one goes
Mhm.
back and opens the door and just walks in. Like he's okay, excuse my language, but suddenly the security has balls of steel. Like a minute ago, they didn't have any, they were running, and now they're just walking in the room. Like, I don't know. This sounds like everybody's in on it to me.
And I'm wondering, a sour smell. He just heard the gunshot. So what is this
Yeah.
sour smell?
Yeah, if there was just a gunshot. Well, if she died prior and then somebody shot her later to make it look like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now they know something is wrong. I've encountered it in 2 hotels. You check in and it says, "Welcome, name of person."
Hmm.
So this is the hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
Oslo police arrived around 50 minutes. 50 minutes. Around 50 minutes after the gunshot was heard. When they accessed the room, they found Jennifer lying on the bed. She had a single gunshot wound to the forehead and a 9mm Browning pistol in her right hand. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Despite there being blood splatter all the way up to the ceiling, no blood was found on her hand, nor was there any trace of gunshot residue on it.
We're just getting into the weird. First of all, why does she have a gun?
Yeah.
Second of all, where's the blood splatter and the gun residue on her hand? Because if you shoot a gun, you're going to have the residue on your hand. So
Mm-hmm.
also 50 minutes. This we just talked about at the beginning of this. The hotel is in a 5-star hotel in the middle of downtown. Why did it take 50 minutes for police to get there?
It's unreal.
It's not like they were out in the country and it was a long drive or something.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I can understand disappearing from the scene, but yes, keep an eye for someone leaving. Right, Char of Heart?
Right. The door had been locked from the inside as well, as if someone had locked it after exiting the room. A second key card, which had been allocated to Lois, was also found in the room.
Okay, so the man that she checked in, Lois, his key card is found in the room, and the only way that the door was locked was from the outside. Oh, no, it had been locked from
No,
the
from the
inside.
inside. Yeah.
How did someone lock it after leaving? Are these rooms connected? Are we about to find out we have connected rooms? Roy says the cops are at Dunkin' Donuts.
The police discovered that there had, in fact, been 2 shots fired. The first one seemed to have been a test shot and was fired into a pillow near Jennifer's body. A burn mark on the pillow showed that it had been flipped after the shot was fired. Someone had examined the pillow.
Was she like, okay, to me, if they have time to shoot into the pillow and then shoot her, like they had already killed her. They're just shooting her to make it look like something else. Because she's not going to lay there and let them shoot the pillow next to her head.
Right. And then shoot her.
And then shoot her, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. And like flip it over and examine it and everything too. That doesn't, no.
Mm-mm.
Jennifer's body was taken for an autopsy, and it was determined that her age was closer to 30. She had put her age as 21 when checking in. She had short black hair and blue eyes, being 5 foot 3 inches tall and weighing 147 pounds. Charpart says, I never heard of it taking 50 minutes to get to a scene of suspicious events. Right?
Right.
Oh, gunshots.
Oh.
Well, it'll be fine. Don't worry. Drugged. That's what I was thinking. Drugged or poisoned?
Possibly, yeah.
All right. There you go.
Her dental work was expensive, being done in porcelain and gold. Despite the quality of the work, no dental matches were ever made, and her fingerprints didn't match anyone on record.
So the weirdness just keeps continuing. She's got porcelain teeth, porcelain and gold.
Porcelain and gold,
Expensive.
yeah.
And no fingerprints on record.
Mm-mm.
Look at them high heels.
And she was dressed, those are stockings, so it's like she was dressed to go somewhere.
Yeah, she's dressed up fancy.
Mm-hmm.
While the deceased was found to have no alcohol in her system, no tests were done for drugs, and no samples were taken from her fingernails or vagina that might indicate defensive wounds or SA. So the theory on her being drugged or poisoned, we're never going to know because they didn't decide to check that. And there were no samples taken to see if she had been through any type of SA. What were these police doing?
Mm-hmm.
Sugar high from their donuts? What the crap?
Yeah. And there was nothing left in the hotel room that gave any clues as to Jennifer's true identity. Neither a handbag, credit cards, passports, or keys were located, and almost all the tags on her clothes were removed.
See, that's the part where I throw my hands up and go, this is a CIA agent. This is someone who did not want to be tracked down. Because I'm sorry, but until I started reading up on this story and learning about this lady right here and watching, fiction, true crime stories, I would not have thought like they can take the tag of your clothes to the store, figure out what stores sell it, and then they figure out the lot number, and then they figure out what days that was in what stores, and they can literally track you down by that. I had no idea that was possible until recently. I had seen that. And so then
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that myself.
And then you realize, like, she's 5-10 steps ahead of that. All the tags are taken out of all her stuff. Like, who would think? Okay, I can get taking the tag out of your shirt because it might get itchy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you have no tags in your purse. You don't have any credit cards. You don't have any passport. You don't have anything. Like,
Yeah.
that's too clean.
Yeah.
Ah, hold on. I hit the button. It's so easy to do.
I know. I've done it.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, like, did they take DNA from the soda bottles or the stuff she
Yeah.
drank? I don't know.
Looks like there's chips sitting
Yeah.
by the lamp.
And it doesn't look like one person either. Like, there's 3
Right.
Cokes in a cup. It looks like she had company over.
Yeah.
I think they tried to shoot through the pillow, but might have been packed enough not to allow the bullet to penetrate and had to just shoot her without being able to silence it. Oh, you mean like use the pillow to silence it, like in one of those spy movies? You might be onto something, Jar of Hearts.
There was no blood on the pillow though, so it couldn't have been up against her.
Well, like Jar of Hearts was saying, maybe it didn't go through the pillow because the pillow had too much stuffing in it or something. But I would think that a bullet would be able to go through a pillow, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Definitely in on it. A lot of people. Yeah, I do think there was a lot of people in on whatever this is.
Her only personal belongings was a man's perfume, and all the fingerprints on it belonged to the victim.
So does she wear a manly perfume? The inventory of her items were clothing, black clothing, long blouse, bra, long silk underwear, stockings, high-heeled shoes made in Italy. 3 light-colored bras were located in her travel bag. 4 jackets were also found. One was black and leather. Another was a light-colored wool material. All but one label from the clothing had been removed. I wouldn't have thought about the tags on the clothing either, except for I watched some show where they literally were able to track down what store said thing was at, and then they were able to track down the receipt number, and then the receipt number led back to, it was pretty intense.
Wow. Jewelry. A gold ring on the right middle finger. Citizen's Aqualand diving watch. It held 370 batteries manufactured in the late 1994, marked with a W395. The etching was possibly done by the merchant who changed the batteries. The watch appeared to have been manufactured around 1992.
I mean, look how much information they were able to get just off that watch. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy. Now I'm going to be suspicious of tagless clothes at Goodwill.
Right.
Well, I know, like, for me, if I have a long tag in the back of my shirt and it itches my back, I will cut it out. And a lot of shirts nowadays are going to tagless, where they just print the tag on the shirt. So on a shirt, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Maybe even on pants, I wouldn't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But like your purse, your shoes, all of your items having the tags ripped out is very strange. And that is a fancy watch too. It looks like a spy's watch.
Yeah. Opens up.
Yeah, little do they know there's a little secret button that makes it open up, and that it's recording you. And watch out, there's a dart in there with poison in it too.
Yeah.
Is this one mine? Okay. They also looked into the details she left upon check-in. She claimed to live on a street called Rue de la Steed in the village of Verling, Belgium. However, no such street exists, nor is the area code she wrote down the correct one. There was also no companies in Belgium named Surprise, her stated employer at the time. Linda, I doubt she shopped at Goodwill. Now, it seemed like she had pretty expensive stuff.
Yeah. They also looked into.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry. It skipped fast on me there. Hold on one second. Okay, that's the one we did.
Oh,
Hold on
okay.
one second. There we go.
A plastic newspaper bag containing an edition of USA Today was found in her room. The bag was addressed to room 2816, located on the opposite end of the hallway. I think it's supposed to be hallway from 2805.
Oh, so that's the 2 rooms that she rented, though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If it's a small shot, a certain type of material would divert the bullet, like hybrid memory foam instead of cloth, or the foam and the feather alternative. But if you ever have some nice upper fashion in them, sometimes there is no attack. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
The investigators also found a fingerprint on the bag, which they were unable to identify at the time. A request for an international search was submitted through Interpol, but nothing came of this. This is a picture of her.
Uh-huh. The police also looked at data from the electronic hotel key card that Jennifer used to access her room. They determined that she was not present in her room between 12:34 a.m. on June 1st and 8:50 a.m. on June 2nd. Where was she?
She was at a party and she didn't know life was coming to an end.
Yeah.
The gun used in this case was a 1990-91 9mm Browning produced in Isdal, Belgium. It only had a partial serial number on it.
Mm-hmm.
Some online reports say that they believe the serial number had been dissolved in acid. Again, who is dissolving serial numbers in acid? Okay, people, we see these movies about CIA agents all the time. This is real life. This is like...
They went through a lot of work to hide a lot of things.
Can you imagine? Like, I wonder the police officers that were working on this case, I wonder if they ran into people that were like, stop looking. You know, like in the movies, they're stop looking. You don't want to get into this. Like, I can just imagine this unfolding.
Mm.
I guess that's the gun in her hand.
Uh-huh.
No one holds a gun like that. No one uses their thumb to pull the trigger on a gun.
Right. Look how her wrist is. It's all.
I mean, that looks perfectly placed. That doesn't look normal at all. Char of Hearts said, I seen one with printed tag faded out, but the material was in good shape. Plus the paper tag gone. My ex didn't like the shirt because it was hard to tell front from back due to the print being rubbed. Gotcha.
Mm.
Yeah, this looks placed.
I also found at the scene was a briefcase, a braun buffel, containing nothing but 25 bullets. Another 7 bullets were found in the pistol's magazine.
How many people you know carrying briefcases around?
Yeah.
Housekeepers who had serviced her room observed a single duvet on her bed at the time of her death. 2 duvets were present on it. The investigators failed to retrieve any hairs or fluids from the bed. It was thrown away the next day. This is just like they're purposely doing stuff so they don't
The
put any more
housekeeper's
information.
in on it.
Yeah.
When her room service for a hot bite, a bratwurst and potato salad was delivered the night before she died, the room service attendant remembers seeing a trolley suitcase in the room, which led them to believe that Jennifer may have been a flight attendant. No such suitcase was found in the room after her death.
That's because that suitcase went out with all the evidence.
Yeah.
They didn't pack no dead body in the suitcase. They just took the evidence out in the suitcase.
Yeah.
One housekeeper also mentioned seeing a particularly nice pair of shoes in her closet when cleaning the room on Thursday morning. After Jennifer's death, the only pair of shoes found in her room was the one she was wearing, and the housekeeper was certain that it wasn't the same one she had seen earlier. We have a foot fetish here. We have a foot fetish and a high heel fetish going on.
They were the red shoes that she should have been wearing.
Yeah. Like, those even look like CIA agent clothes, right?
Yeah.
Like all black.
All black. Yeah.
Secret Service.
A man who was in room 2804, directly opposite of Jennifer's room at the time, this man claimed to be from Belgium and checked in on June 2nd. Mr. F told authorities that he had been told that Jennifer had been found dead and was asked if he had seen anything suspicious. However, Mr. F checked out on June 3rd before she was found dead.
So he's down there asking questions about her death prior to her even being dead. That doesn't make much sense.
No.
A journalist named Lars Wagner managed to track Mr. F down and interviewed him. Mr. F, I remember it well because they asked me about it at the front desk when I checked out. Someone asked if I had heard or seen anything since it was the same corridor, but I slept well that night and knew nothing about it. And the police don't know who Mr. F really is?
Now, Lars Wagner asked Mr. F to confirm the day he left. And Mr. F, I stayed there from Friday to Saturday. When I checked out, they told me about the lady who died.
This is so weird.
Yeah.
But, Mr. F, this is very strange. You checked out of the hotel on Saturday morning, but the young woman didn't die until Saturday night, almost 12 hours later. I don't see how they could have asked you about the death when the woman wasn't dead yet.
So who's telling the truth? Now, Mr. F, I don't know anything about that. I just remember they asked me. That's all I know.
The police didn't find this strange?
Yeah.
This is her?
Mm-hmm.
One other weird detail was that in her autopsy, the coroner determined that she had eaten the room service food more than 24 hours after she ordered it.
Now, first it got delivered to the other room. And then it got delivered to her. But to wait 24 hours to eat it?
Yeah, like, so she ordered a brat and potato salad. Can you imagine your brat and potato salad sitting on your plate for 24 hours and then you just going over and chowing down on it?
Now, I didn't see a microwave in there. I don't know if she had one, but that's just weird.
That's really weird.
Jennifer was buried in an anonymous grave at Vestre Graveland Cemetery. The case went cold for many years. In 2016, Jennifer was exhumed to secure DNA analysis.
Blood samples, along with much of the other evidence, had been discarded in 1996. Investigators took samples of both teeth and bones. See, why would they get rid of, if they haven't solved the case, why are they getting rid of the
Yeah.
evidence?
I would have thought that the police would have taken the blankets and everything they needed that day, then leave it behind, and the housekeepers got rid of it.
Yeah,
So
doesn't make sense.
now, they obtained a complete DNA profile, sending the materials for analysis at the Institute of Legal Medicine at Innsbruck Medical University in Australia.
The samples confirmed that she was most likely European, and a study of her teeth by Professor Jurian Hoogworth at the University of Canberra in Australia narrowed the area to Germany. So she was German with no accent.
Yeah.
Because earlier they said she didn't have an accent.
Mm-hmm.
So she was dead, but maybe poisoned. Jar of Hearts, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe she was a call girl that saw something she shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Lady of the Night, maybe.
Yet further analysis, this time by Professor Drude in Stockholm, suggests the woman was born in 1971 and was aged 24 at the time of her death, with a small margin of error of just 1.1 years.
Originally, she was saying she was 21. Then they said she was more like 30, and now they're saying she
Mm-hmm.
was 24, 25, or 23.
Yeah.
Sounds like she was held up and the person had to give it to her.
Mm.
Many people have drawn comparisons between Jennifer and Norway's most famous doe, the Isdal woman. Dun dun dun, there's more.
More. Now, the Isdale Doe is a mysterious woman who died after being set on fire at Bergen on November 29th, 1970. Police at the time judged the matter to be a suicide, yet details such as missing clothing tags meant that the mystery lingered.
So more missing clothing tags.
Yeah.
The possibility that the security services were involved has always seemed likely, and neither police nor the public have managed to identify the woman. The other one I was saying, the security had to be involved. Like, who you're
Right.
hired as security and you run when there's gunshots, that doesn't add up. Or the guy coming back later and walking in there. That doesn't
Yeah.
make sense either.
Just let them run away if they were in the room. The gun went off and then you just leave, you know. How
Yeah.
did they exit that room? The case was certainly known in 1995, and it's possibly that someone wishing to remain anonymous may have taken inspiration from the successful methods utilized by the Isdal woman, like Jennifer. The Isdal woman consistently gave her nationality as Belgian when she was actually German, and she was likely raised in French speaking Belgium.
Now, this is some CIA or maybe even maybe they were just in like protective custody, like
Secret Service, some.
well, maybe they weren't
Or
trained
yeah.
agents, but maybe they were like people that witnessed something, so then they had to change their
Mhm.
identity and all of that, and then maybe someone tracked them down.
Yeah.
Roy and Becky said like mafia hit and paid security off,
Security off.
right?
Yeah.
Or like,
Mhm.
they saw something, they testified to it, they were put in protective custody, and whoever was after them found them, paid off security.
Yeah.
I still don't get the tags missing in the clothes, though.
Mm.
The Oslo woman had expensive gold and porcelain work done on her teeth, while the Isdal woman also had unique gold filling dental work. Could it be that the women in room 202 could it be that the woman in room 2805 was deliberately trying to make her own suicide echo the Isdal woman? I don't think so.
Yeah.
If you're suicidal, you are not trying to echo or mimic somebody else's situation, right?
I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't think you were in your right mind if you were suicidal.
If she was trying to create these false echoes, it would explain the failed calls to Belgium and simply mistakes such as street names.
I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
Their theory's a little off.
Yeah.
So, what is Jennifer's story? Theories about this case. Some people believe that Jennifer was a secret agent and that she was murdered for something she knew. Norwegian intelligence operative Ola Kaldager believes that this may be the case.
Other theories include Jennifer being a flight attendant, high end prostitute, participant in a major drug operation, or an assassin. Or was this just a simple suicide and she did not want her family to know or find out about her death?
There's been pictures everywhere. That's the other thing. Like if she had family or if she wasn't some kind of secret agent or undercover or being hidden,
Mm-hmm.
a neighbor would recognize her, a family member, a lost cousin, like somebody would have recognized her by now. These
Yeah.
pictures and stuff are somebody would have recognized her. Like that. How can you not recognize that? And somebody, a grocery store clerk, a gas station attendant, like you recognize faces when you're out and about. Somebody would have, I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe the killer had the person around a long time before they killed her, and same for the second woman. Isdal woman, the mystery death haunting Norway for 52 years.
Now, this is the second story. On the morning of the 29th November 1970, a man and his two young daughters see a body in Isdalen Valley.
Oh boy. So beautiful.
It's pretty. A little bit of snow up there.
Yeah. The corpse is sprawled across some rocks with its arms extended in a boxer position, typical of bodies that have been burnt. Yeah, that's the other really weird part. The teeth job being super expensive. Yeah, that's not something that's common. That's very weird that connects.
Isdalen is known to some locals as Death Valley. It was a site where people committed suicide in medieval times, and in the 1960s, some hikers have fallen to their deaths while trekking in the fog. But the woman does not appear to be a normal hiker.
Nope, this is going to be completely out of the ordinary and strange, I have the feeling.
Yeah.
The body was burned all over the front, including the face and most of her hair. But strangely, it was not burnt on the back. Ooh, that's a good guess. Maybe like the mistress to a mob boss.
Oh, yeah.
But you think that they would have taken the teeth out? I don't know.
It looked like she had thrown herself back from a fire, adding that she was so badly burnt they could not imagine what she originally looked like.
That's terrifying. That's got to
Oh,
be
yeah.
the worst way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, everybody
Yeah.
see that? I know it's gruesome, but oh, she's like fighting stance.
Yeah.
Um, Police find a number of objects at the scene, including jewelry, a watch, a broken umbrella, and some bottles. If they got the same watch, it's
I
all
know.
over.
But it is the positioning of the objects that leave the strongest impression. The woman is not wearing the watch or her jewelry. Instead, they have been placed beside her.
That seems like a mob type thing too, where they like, hang on, let me take my stuff off. Like, out of
Yeah.
respect. I don't know. Police found items of clothing, drinking bottles, the remains of nylon stockings, and pieces of jewelry at the scene. So she was wearing stockings too,
Mm-hmm.
dressed up kind of fancy.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be wearing stockings on a hike, you know? The placement and location of the objects surrounding the body was strange. It looked like there had been some kind of ceremony.
Hmm.
Mm.
Bottles found at the scene, like hiking bottles.
Mm-hmm.
Police also find the remains of a pair of rubber boots and nylon stockings. She was wearing a lot of clothes of synthetic material, and all the clothes had been heavily burned.
Adding to the mystery is the fact that the production labels have been cut off her clothes and rubbed off the bottles at the scene. Police find nothing at the scene to indicate who the woman was.
That's another thing. No one tried to see who did the teeth work and for whom. That's what I would be like. They both have this fancy teeth work. Let's track this down. Let's see whose work this is. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Police issue an appeal for eyewitnesses. They say the woman was about 5 foot 4.5 inches tall with long brownish black hair, a small round face, brown eyes, and small ears. They even sound like they look alike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Spot where the Isdal woman was found. Yeah, she hiked up there knowing she was gonna die. Like they
Yeah.
ain't no one hiking them hills with nylons on.
Right.
Chub rub, anyone?
Now, she appeared to be aged between 25 and 40 years and wore her hair in a ponytail tied with a blue and white printed ribbon at the time of death. Without a name, the woman becomes known as the Isdale woman.
So you know your family member's missing too, right? Like if they were somebody's family member or neighbor or they rented a house or even if they owned a house, if they didn't ever come back to it, they would be missing, right? So like
Yeah.
someone would have to know they were missing unless they just didn't have any kind of life outside of this. That's what is just I cannot wrap my head around that.
Yeah, your friends, family, employment, employer, just
Well, okay,
somebody.
so even if I didn't have any friends or family or nothing and I just lived in this house right here, my neighbors would
Your
notice I
neighbor.
was missing. Like,
Yeah.
they'd notice that there wasn't any groceries coming to the house or me leaving the house or you
The
know what I mean?
mailman.
Yeah.
All your mail stacking up.
Somebody would have to report that they would that's the part that I'm just blown away by this is that they haven't had any reports of women that match these descriptions. It just blows me away. Scared to be the next on the hit list. True. Or like they told their family, hey, I might not make it. And if I don't claim me. I don't want anyone to know you're related to me. You know what I mean? Like maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm.
They find 2 suitcases at a Bergen railway station's left luggage department. One of the suitcases contains prescription-free glasses, and a fingerprint on one of the pairs matches the woman's.
The suitcases also contain clothes, several wigs, German and Norwegian money, Belgian, British, and Swiss coins, a comb and a hairbrush, cosmetics, some teaspoons, and a tube of eczema cream.
Interesting, there's wigs in there.
Yeah.
That goes with the theory of not wanting to be found and all of the different money. That goes with being on the run and not wanting to be seen. Maybe she was a
Yeah.
mail order girl, Tara Hart said. I don't know. It's all such a mystery. It's craziness. It's like a
Mind-boggling.
movie.
Yeah.
Initially, police were very optimistic because they thought the suitcases would help them identify the body.
But soon they realized that all the labels that could have been identified for the woman, her clothes or belongings have been removed.
So that's just too weird.
Mm-hmm.
It is suspicious, and no one ever asked after them, and the 2 gave foreign origins, right?
Right.
And they were able to track it back that they're both of German descent.
Yeah.
The remains of an item of clothing and an umbrella found at the scene. The umbrella on a hike seems very weird.
Yeah. And even the prescription sticker on the it's a eczema
Yeah.
cream, which would have shown the name of the doctor and the patient, have been scraped off.
So that's somebody is, and that has to be them because that's their stuff that they're taking with them. So they're hiding their identity. Police try hard to trace the woman's belongings. They even contact several major department stores abroad, including Galeries Lafayette in Paris, to see if the stores recognize any of the packaging on the woman's makeup. None of the department stores can find a match. Okay, that watch looks a little similar.
That looks a little bit.
It's not the exact same one, but that watch does look similar.
It's the ones they issue to you at the CIA.
Right?
There is also a mysterious coded note in the case. There is one important piece of evidence in the suitcase, a plastic bag from Oscar Rodervet footwear store, a shoe shop in Stavanger.
Okay, first of all, there's a coded note, which again, CIA, anyone?
Yeah.
And then we're back to the whole foot fetish thing again, it seems.
Right.
The owner's son, Rolf, that guy, remembers selling a pair of rubber boots to a very well-dressed, nice-looking woman with dark hair. The boots sold at Oscar's footwear store were similar to the pair found at the Isdalian Valley. Why'd she buy boots? I guess you can't hike in heels.
The boots he sold her appear to match the boots found on the body in the Isdal Valley. Police believe that the umbrella found near the body was also bought from the store.
See, that sounds more like somebody was like, go get you some decent shoes and an umbrella because we're going to be out in the weather, and then just made her go and then executed her. It doesn't sound like,
She was wearing stockings and then to put those boots on.
yeah, it sounds like somebody that was planning to kill her made her go buy those
Yeah.
things. Rolf says the woman had made an impression on him because she took a long time choosing her boots, much longer than the average customer. She's like, yeah, I'm about to die. I'm going to enjoy picking out my last pair of shoes.
Mm.
That's what I think.
She spoke English with an accent and had a calm and quiet expression, he tells the BBC. He also recalls a strong smell emanating from the woman, which later he thinks may have been garlic.
She was at the bar, met up with the assassin, and
Mhm.
life just went downhill from there. Using his description, police are able to trace the woman to St. Svithun Hotel nearby, where she checked in as Fenella Lorch. The problem, Fenella Lorch wasn't her real name. Trav Hart said, ooh, so the guy was at the foot and the lady on the bed when he shot her from under her face, spraying the ceiling? You know what? According to those pictures, it did seem like that.
Yeah.
I love your feet. Now, we've ruined your feet. Die. Seems like it. This one's covering her feet up with boots so that he can kill her, because if he loves her feet too much, he can't kill her. She's got to wear boots. So on this form, the woman claims she had arrived from London. So her forms are lies as well.
Mm-hmm. It emerges that the woman has stayed in several hotels in Norway using different aliases. And since most hotels require guests to show a passport and fill in a check in form, this means she would have had several fake passports.
Well, that's like the other hotel. They didn't even require her to have the credit card to prove who she was. So, I
Right.
mean, it could be that the hotels just weren't doing
Messed
what
up.
they, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe she did have fake passports, but man, again, what was she into that she had fake passports?
Mm-hmm.
The woman's final stay was in the hotel Hurdamen.
Doesn't look as fancy.
Mm-mm. Police find the woman had stayed in the following hotels under these names. Genevieve Lancer from Louvain stayed in Viking Hotel Oslo from 21st to the 24th of March 1970. Claudia Tilt from Brussels stayed in Hotel Bristol Bergen from the 24th to the 25th.
Claudia Tilt from Brussels stayed in Hotel Scandinavia Bergen from the 25th of March to the 1st of April. Claudia Nielsen from Ghent stayed in K&A Hotel Stavanger from the 29th to the 30th of October.
So they were able to track her back pretty far.
Mm-hmm.
Alexa Zarni. Oh, Alexa, stop. Sorry, I wasn't talking to you. The A lady, Zarni Merchez from Lubanja, stayed in Neptune Hotel Bergen from 30 October to 5 November. Vera Jarley from Antwerp stayed in Hotel Bristol Trondheim from 6th to the 8th of November. So she was just hotel to hotel. She didn't have a home.
Yeah.
This seems like kind of a call girl or agent.
Fennell Lorch stayed in St. Southern Hotel, Stavanger from the 9th to the 18th of November. Miss Lindorf stayed in Hotel Rosencroft, Virgin, from the 18th to the 19th of November.
Elizabeth Leenhoff from Ostend stayed in Hotel Rotterdam. I don't know what just came out of my mouth. Bergen from 19th to the 23rd of November. It sounded like I kind of hocked a loogie and coughed and a word came out. This headline reads, the woman in Isdal had at least 6 different aliases. She was definitely hiding something.
The woman left a strong impression on Alhild Ragnes, who was a 21-year-old waitress at Hotel Neptune at the time. My first impression of her was one of elegance and self-assurance, she tells the BBC.
She looked so fashionable. I wished to be able to mimic her style. In fact, I remember her winking at me. From my perspective, it felt as though she thought I had been staring a bit too much at her.
On one occasion, while I was serving her, she was in the dining hall, sitting right next to, but not interacting with, 2 German Navy personnel, one of which was an officer.
She looks very similar to the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar. Police questioned several hotel staff who met the Isdal woman, including Alvahild. They learned that in addition to speaking English, the woman also used German phrases, same as the other lady.
Yeah. They also learned that the woman often requested a change of room. On one occasion, she asked to change rooms 3 times.
Wasn't happy.
Yeah.
By now, there are several rumors that the woman was a spy. There weren't too many foreign tourists in Bergen then, and the fact that the woman seemed wealthy and well-traveled sparked a lot of speculation. This headline reads, rumors say the woman was a secret agent.
Police eventually crack some of the coded note, but it doesn't prove any evidence that she's a spy.
Instead, it appears to be a record of the places the woman visited. For example, 022028P are dates. 22 to 28 of October, she was in Paris. 029PS is the day she traveled from Paris to Stavanger. 0293 or 029S matches the date she arrived in Stavanger. 29 October and 030BN5 matches her stay in Bergen from 30 October to the 5th of November. Why wouldn't she just write that?
Yeah. Why did it have to be in code?
Yeah, that's strange that it has to be in code.
Police sent a description of the woman and sketches of what she may have looked like to several police forces abroad, but none of them say that they can identify the woman.
Meanwhile, investigators complete an examination of the woman's body. They find an unexplained bruise on the right side of her neck that could have been the result of a blow or a fall.
Mm. There are no signs that the woman had been ill. The autopsy also finds that the woman had never been pregnant or had a child.
Corpse to be identified. On 29th of November 1970, the unidentified body of a woman was found by a path in Isdal, near Bergen, Norway. The body had been exposed to strong heat and bore considerable burns. The clothes were partially burned.
It's like she was torched.
Yeah, that's weird.
Now, her death is likely to have been a painful one. There were smoke particles in her lungs, which shows that the woman was alive while she was burning.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. He found a trace of petrol in the ground below the woman's body, which means we can state with certainty that petrol had been used to set her alight. She had a high concentration of carbon monoxide in her blood.
Wow.
Police distributed the woman's fingerprints via Interpol.
Now, experts also established that there were about 50 to 70 sleeping pills from a foreign brand called Feminol in her stomach, although they had not been fully absorbed into her bloodstream before she died.
So I wonder if she was even awake in the like, did they just carry her up there? Well, they weren't fully absorbed, but still, that's an awful lot of sleeping pills. I wouldn't assume they'd have to be fully absorbed to make you
Knock
sleepy.
her out.
Yeah. The autopsy concludes the woman died from a combination of carbon monoxide poisoning and ingesting a large number of sleeping pills. The cause of death is announced to be a probable suicide. A view supported by Bergen's chief of police. Would she light herself on fire? What?
And then she was like this when they found her. So that to me is like where she's defending
like
herself.
Stop whoever splashed her with the petrol. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
This does not make sense. Suicide? Come on. One of the forensic cards summarizing the autopsy findings.
But many people find this hard to believe. Both the remote spot where her body was found and the method of suicide by fire.
Without any further leads, the case is closed and the woman is buried in February of 1971. Police think the woman may be Catholic and organize a Catholic funeral for her. What if she's not Catholic? What are you doing?
I don't know how they came to the conclusion she was.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand that.
Now, according to the police report for the funeral, the coffin was decorated with lilacs and tulips, and the priest conducted a simple ceremony for the unknown woman who was put to the grave in a foreign country without any family present.
That's the saddest part about all of this is that no one claims them or loves them.
Yeah.
After. I don't know. The funeral was attended by police officers. Police still hope to find the woman's family. She's buried in a zinc coffin that won't decompose, and keep an album of photos from the funeral for her relatives.
Well, that was thoughtful.
Yeah. The unmarked grave where the Isdal woman's body is buried, the site is marked with a small wreath and a candle.
Now, Harold Osland was one of the investigators reluctant to let the case go. My father could never put this case away, his son Tor says. He never could accept that they had to close down the case.
I wouldn't want to accept that either. They're closing it down as a suicide, and this lady was burnt.
Yeah.
His father kept several of the police documents, and Tor eventually wrote a book about the Isdal case. Then, in 2016, the possibility of solving the case rears its head again.
The Isdal woman had distinctive teeth. 14 of them were filled, and she had several gold crowns. This was especially unusual for someone in her age range, and is not the type of dental work seen in Norway.
Here's the teeth thing, Jar of Hearts. Giselle Bang, a professor of dentistry, keeps the woman's jaw in the hope that other experts will recognize the dental work. After his teeth, everyone assumes the jaw has been destroyed. Or after his death, everyone assumed the jaw had been destroyed. The Isdal woman had distinctive teeth. 14 of them were filled, and she had several gold crowns. Wow.
Mm. Forensic doctors Ingmore, I can't say that, who inherited the Isdal woman files, says he was told the jaw had been thrown away because it was smelling.
Smelling, it's just bone.
Yeah, there's no flesh on it.
But after investigative journalists at NRK make queries about the Isdal woman, Proof Morrild finds the jaw deep in a cellar in Auckland University Hospital's forensic archives.
The find gives Norwegian police an opportunity to reopen the case and use the latest forensic techniques to try and identify the woman.
The Norwegian Criminal Investigation Services, Kripos, and University of Bergen start conducting isotope analysis on her teeth, looking at the chemical signature left by the elements that made up her teeth as they were being formed. Big words, lots of big words.
Lots of big words. The test involved oxygen, how did you say that?
Isotope.
Isotope analysis, which can reveal the type of water the woman drank as she grew up and which areas the water came from. Citron isotope analysis, which can reflect the type of food the woman ate and the type of soil in the area where she grew up.
I think that's so interesting they're able to do that. Jar of Hearts says about time they're checking the teeth, right? Yeah. It's the first time Norwegian police have conducted isotope analysis on teeth, but they hope the findings will help them pinpoint the region where the woman lived.
The DNA analysis is now one of the key tools police use in forensic analysis and identification cases. It didn't exist back in the 1970s.
Yeah, I've heard of them being able to tell by the water where you grew up.
That's pretty cool.
And being able to take soil samples and determine where, like, if there's some soil on your body and you've been murdered and it's not the same soil as where you are, they can kind of track that. That's crazy to me that can happen.
Yeah.
But it turns out several tissue samples from the woman's organs, including from her lungs, heart, adrenal gland, and ovaries have been stored at Auckland University Hospital. Oh, wow. So they have even more of her stored.
Mm-hmm.
Tissue samples from the organs are preserved in paraffin blocks. Interesting.
Proof Morlid says it has been a custom in most of Norway to keep tissue samples from post-mortem examinations. The samples are useful to repeat examinations and as a source of DNA. Well, that's pretty smart.
Yeah. That way they don't have to dig anybody up. They can just check their samples that they have.
Yeah.
NRK and the local police agree to send the samples off for DNA analysis. Niles Jarley, not trying that last name, heard of forensics at West Police District, says it's important to pursue the woman's identity because somewhere in the world there may be some relatives wondering where she went.
Yeah.
Morad looks through tissue samples belonging to the Isdal woman.
We try to identify every unknown body so that relatives can have an answer. While they wait for DNA results, NRK published a documentary into the investigation and received more than 150 tips off from people interested in the case.
Oh, I'm sure there's so many people interested. This is like the most bizarre case ever. Both of them are. After months of work, scientists have an extended DNA profile of the woman. The latest results show the woman was of European descent, making the theory that the woman was an agent from Israel much less likely.
Well, not from Israel.
No, but the other one was European also, wasn't she? Or was she German?
German, I think.
Yeah, I think she was German.
Yeah. The Norwegian police are set to issue an Interpol Black Notice, which seeks information on unidentified bodies. With the new information, European police forces will be asked to check their DNA databases to see if they find a match.
If someone in her close family is in a DNA registry somewhere, we will get a hit, says Stal Hansen. That would be really exciting. The Isdal woman case has been unsolved for the last 52 years, but now modern science has reopened the possibility of this elusive Nordic mystery being solved. She does look very similar to the other one.
She does, right?
So what do you think after doing all this research? Nettie, what do you think, what's your standing theory with it?
I think it has to do with CIA, too much information, having to basically take care of both of them. It's just too much there as far as they changed their names. The first one not paying for her room. It seems like spy. I'm just feeling that like.
I think it's spy, or I think it is they were supposed to be in protective, like hidden custody. You know what I mean? And because there's so much interference from like security and the maid throwing things away and the police not collecting everything they needed to, and like all of it just is so fishy and none of it adds up. There's got to be something else besides just a regular murder,
Right.
It's definitely not suicide.
No, definitely. I don't think they did it to themselves. Not at all.
Charfhart said, "Yay, I'm one person away from 240 finally after YouTube taking new folks, keeping it in the 230 since November. Congratulations,
Yeah.
Charfhart." And then she said, too bad she didn't have his skin under her nails after all that damage and time. You know, that's what I think is odd. They didn't take that from them. They didn't mention taking any skin from underneath anyone's nails in the second one, but I guess it would
No,
be burned. But in the first one, they didn't collect that evidence.
the first one was really botched. You know, they
Mhm.
didn't collect a lot of stuff.
Definitely. Well, thank you for doing this story. It's been very interesting. I find this one like so weird and just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And it's one of those ones that will keep me up at night going, but what if this? What if this?
I know all the twists and turns, and I couldn't not do the second one because it related to the first, you know. So it was just once I got to the end, I'm like, I got to keep going. I got to add this story to it, you know. So it was
Yeah.
definitely it was a challenge, but I loved it. I love putting it all together, you know.
Well, thank you for doing it. I really
Mhm.
appreciate it. I thought Germany was European. I looked it up. Germany is a Western European country with a landscape of forests, rivers, mountains. Okay, so they are both from the same place then.
Yeah, it's
Same region, basically,
region.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting. I think that they're starting to come up so far along with DNA testing and all that eventually they're going to figure out who the second woman is and how she got there and why. I think it'll be
Yeah.
interesting when they do. So.
Yeah, that would be awesome if they can find some closure on this second case. You know,
Yeah.
if they could do both, that would be amazing. But the first one's going to be a little bit harder because they don't have anything saved, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely would like to check into this later, see what came about, you know.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be worth just keeping an eye out and see what ends up coming
Yeah.
about it because, yeah, I think that they are on the brink of figuring something out. So,
Now, this story came from BB. I appreciate you sending it to me
no,
because
no problem.
definitely it was a mystery true crime. It was definitely a great story to do.
Yeah, it had me when I first heard of this story, me just shaking my head, going, "What?
Yeah.
What? Huh?
Right.
That doesn't make sense." So I love
Yeah.
this. This is great. All
Hmm.
right. Well, we will be back next Sunday. Thank you,
Yep.
everyone, for coming in and hanging out with
Mhm.
us. Wishing you all much kindness and much love.
And we're sending love your way. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.